Hmm. So what about church? Like, did you go to church regularly?
We went to
church?
Sunday school and church and evening service and prayer meeting out at Mountain View Missionary Church out east. That was the same denomination as the Didsbury Evangelical Missionary Church, I think is what it was called at first.
It was United Missionary.
Or United Missionary Church, yeah. And so we went out to Mountain View. It was a smaller church, and that was the idea that Dad and Mom had, that we would go to a smaller church and smaller youth groups and smaller everything. And I remember also Dad for building that new house, the blue roof house just west of the hospital. Dad got the contract to tear down the old church when it got the new one on that same property was built, just on the west side of the old church.
Okay.
Because your Clarence's shoe shop was just around the corner from that, right?
Yeah.
So the old church was, we tore that down, and we actually used the lumber from that church to actually build that house, the blue roofed house. So,
oh, you're kidding. Recycling.
Oh, yeah, recycling, yes. Yeah.
At its best.
At its best. It was old pine, I think, hard as rock kind of lumber, very hard to work with. But I remember a few things. The steeple coming down, we rolled it to the east, laid it down and rolled it on the roof to the east and let it crash on the ground. And then the forever pulling out nails out of boards was a job that we all dreaded and hated, but it went on for a terrible long time.
Well, I needed something to keep all you boys busy.
Oh, yes, yeah. But we had some fun in there when we first started. We went in and started tearing the plaster apart and found little notes that kids in church had put in there. Sometimes even love notes that they hope would be found by somebody else, stuck in the stucco. That lath and plaster walls, and then stuck it over little cracks in there. We'd find some notes. Another thing that I'm amazed at is where the big grand piano used to sit in that old church. We pulled the linoleum off, and I think one sheet of plywood or something, taking it off, and the floor underneath that was rotten. One leg I fell through with one leg
Oh, dear.
in that, and here a grand piano was sitting on top of it. Must have been precisely, maybe that's part of the miracles that were happening.
Keeping the piano up.
Must have been sitting on one of those joists or whatever, but it never fell in. But a little gaffer fell in, so. Yeah.
It's interesting the things that you remember.
Yeah.
So church was a big part of your life then.
Yeah, it was. It was quite a big part. I didn't get much involved in community sports or anything because of that, Mom and Dad and church believed that we would make that happen out at our church, right? So had lots of youth stuff going on, and then Youth for Christ at that time was... But during that time, I also got, through the Youth for Christ organization, got exposure to television because the choir got to sing there, or whether it was Youth for Christ or was I think it was related to a singing group. Got some television, so we saw the inside of a studio, and
oh, that'd be cool.
yeah. I remember how messy the floor was, though. TV never showed that.
No.
But all the cords and the crud on the floor just looked ridiculous. But Cameras didn't show that, I guess. So I remember when the youth group at Mountain View Church were so we were so small. I think there was only the executive is all there was in the youth group. So they took a vote as to who to join, and for some reason or other, there was resistance to join the town church youth group. So we were told just join whichever group you want to join. So a few went to town, but some of us went to the Carstairs Church of God Youth. That was more active right then. So yeah, interesting. You did what you had to do, right? So